From your local election headquarters, here's Fred Childers with This Week in Louisiana Politics.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Fred Childers. Hope you're having a great weekend. Thanks for joining us for This Week in Louisiana Politics on your local election headquarters. A bill allowing the carrying of a concealed firearm in restaurants serving alcohol moved forward at the state capitol this week. This comes just weeks after the legislature passed the so-called constitutional carry legislation. That allows someone to conceal carry without a permit. Some lawmakers have voiced concerns over mixing firearms and alcohol, and the bill's author said the bill would eliminate inconsistencies in the law.
And just because there's a board there shouldn't restrict somebody from carrying a firearm. That was the will of the legislature, and we did concealed carry permits. So this brings constitutional carry in line with concealed carry permits and closes the gaps in between the law and helps fight the patchwork of laws that we have.
Under this proposal, it would still be illegal to conceal carry in a business getting more than half of its total sales from selling alcohol. Louisiana is staring down a property insurance crisis with a new commissioner and administration in charge. They have some sweeping changes proposed they believe will bring down premiums. Capitol reporter Shannon Hecht breaks down some of the bills for us.
The insurance commissioner is pushing a whole slate of bills that he hopes will bring down the amount of lawsuits and also help companies be untethered from high-risk policies. Insurance Commissioner Tim Temple is focusing on reducing the amount of litigation that is brought against insurance companies. One bill he is supporting lays out timelines of when payments need to be done and allows for a cure period for the company and policyholder to work things out before a lawyer gets involved.
If you can't afford the product, then what good does it do you to go litigate against a product that you can't afford? You don't have it. So we've got to make sure and make insurance available. Availability will lead to affordability.
One law that consumer advocates are working to keep is the 3-year rule, which binds companies to policyholders if they have renewed for 3 years. One bill would start to phase it out by allowing companies to cancel policies they don't want to cover anymore.
The 3-year rule gives insurers an incentive because they're wedded to those policies to work with local communities to actually help mitigate the risk.
Temple and the insurance chairman say that taking the restrictions off of companies to choose who they cover will lead to a more free market, which they believe will bring more companies to the state.
I think the main misconception is that we can file bills to lower your rates. We cannot do that, but we can file bills to stabilize this market and bring insurance companies in.
They also emphasize that what is being done to lower insurance premiums now is not working, as people are losing their homes because they can't afford it. Some of these bills are getting some of their first votes this week. At the Capitol for your local election headquarters, I'm Shannon Hecht.
And we'll keep tabs on it. The Louisiana Department of Education's budget is coming out to be $7.3 billion. The teacher stipend that was allocated last year won't be in the budget forever. But DOE is asking for $25 million to use for targeting specific positions such as high school math and science to incentivize teachers to take those jobs. State Superintendent Cade Brumley said he did ask to keep the stipend before, but understands the reality of the state's finances.
It's not just about pay, but it is about pay. And teachers deserve to be compensated fairly. Teachers deserve to have opportunities to do their work without excessive training that's non-academic in its nature. They should have the opportunity to teach free from disruption.
For early childhood education, the department asked for an increase of $10 million, but the funds will remain the same at $31 million in statutory funds. There is a wait list of over 3,000 kids for early childhood education programs. After a high school graduation appeals process was implemented at the end of Governor John Bel Edwards' term, it was quickly vetoed when Jeff Landry took office. A bill proposed in the legislature would ban the portfolio method of appeals. This way, students could prove they meet the requirements to graduate if they were unable to pass part of the LEAP test. The bill's author says he believes it is not the most accurate way for students to prove they are ready for graduation and wants to find another way.
It allowed the teachers at the school to be basically to determine if the portfolio was sufficient. There were no guardrails on the students themselves as how they were to do it. There was no requirement that they do it, in a classroom.
Some legislators against the bill said they should not take the power away from the Board of Elementary and Secondary Education. When a Louisiana driver is fined for lapsed insurance and they can't pay it right away, the fees stack up and some struggle to ever get their license reinstated. The state legislature advanced a bill this week that would make sweeping changes to help people with that debt. Shannon Hecht is back with the details.
The bill by Representative Owen would be a major reform for the Office of Motor Vehicles to help people deal with their debt and get their license back. When people miss an insurance payment, it can lead to a lapse in coverage, leading to a fine from OMV. If not dealt with right away, those fines are sent to the Office of Debt Recovery, where the fees continue to increase and they lose their license. The state has over $471 million in delinquent fees that is likely to never be paid.
And we have some individuals that owe us $20,000. I mean, they're never going to get back into the system.
HB 683 would allow OMV to go back and reduce the debt someone has accrued or negotiate something they can afford. Currently, the OMV can't roll back any of those fines, and payment plans are often cumbersome, making it impossible for people to get out from the financial burden.
It's putting drivers on the road and properly licensed and insured, which will help, I think, our insurance rates because we have more people insured.
OMV has nearly 900,000 cancellations dating back to the 1980s.
I think a lot of people deal with this, and so this is going to help a lot of people who work month to month but are out working and trying to just keep life together.
OMV Commissioner Dan Casey says that he hopes this will break the cycle of debt for some people and get their licenses reinstated. The bill passed unanimously out of the House committee and now heads to the full House for more debate. At the Capitol for your local election headquarters, I'm Shannon Hecht.
And we'll keep tabs on that one as well. Stay with us. We'll be right back.